No point.
I'm wearing my hoodie all the time. You forgot to do the intro again.
I forgot to do the intro. Shall I do it now? There's nobody there.
Yeah, go on.
Let's just come back. We'll do it.
Just.
Good evening. Try that again.
Whoops.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Ivy. Who's that in Ansonia, Connecticut, USA? Let me have a look on here. I'll just turn the volume down.
I don't know. I've got Eric, Irene, and Sarah.
Alison. It's Alison. Hi, Alison. And who's down the bottom here? Nicola. Hi, Nicola.
I must be watching on a different one.
Now, yeah, that's the point. You guys are coming across as Facebook user in the chat room. It's only when I go on here I can see you. So, hi, Annette. Hi, everybody. Yeah, Eric. We were sat here yapping and then we didn't do the intro, did we? And there wasn't anybody there yet, so we were like, sod it. So, how is everybody? You all right?
Something like that.
I can't hear them. Can you?
Who? Who?
Them. Over there in their chat room. Can't hear them.
They've gone quiet.
They have. They've gone quiet now. Good. All right, Robert. There you are. Everybody's good. Cool.
Oil of Voulay.
Lovely today. What's your secret?
It's Oil of
He's
Voulay.
done his hair.
I don't know. Actually, I will admit that I have been taking ginger, cayenne pepper, honey, lemon juice as a drink first thing in the morning. And it's unbelievable how different I feel.
We're both fine, thank you, Nicola.
Like in waking up, I wake up in the morning, feel really good after I've had that drink. It burns the living daylights out your throat, but the benefits afterwards, it's brilliant. It's amazing stuff. And I learned that off of TikTok, off of one of this Australian doctor.
What is it?
It's ground ginger or normal stem ginger, cayenne pepper, honey, and lemon juice. And I literally just mix it up with some warm water first thing in the morning. Have that as a drink on an empty stomach, and bam. It certainly wakes you up, but it's supposed to decrease inflammation, help blood circulation, and gets rid of brain fog. So sort of when you wake up first thing in the morning, you're a bit like, can't be bothered. You have some of that, and bam. It's really good.
That sounds burning heat.
Excuse me while I choke. No, it does burn when you gulp it down. So I think it's half a teaspoon of each of the ginger and cayenne pepper, and then you just dilute put the honey in to sort of sweeten it up a bit, and then the lemon juice as well to sort of change the flavour a little. But you certainly know when the cayenne pepper's going down.
Taylor went on I think it was lemon juice or something. His lemon juice or something diet, and she's lost so much weight. I can't remember what it was. I'm sure it was lemon juice. But in the morning, she just did like lemon juice, and that was it. And then ate normally throughout the rest of the day, and she's lost so much weight.
Well, there's a lot of fat burners in fruit and veg, and you got lemon juice and pineapple are good fat burners. And if you drink the juice of the pineapple or the lemon first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, it gets straight to your stomach and it helps start to digest the fat that your body already contains. And I think there's another one as well. It's something to do with the ingredients within a coconut. And although coconut oil is an oil as such, it still digests the fat that you've got in your stomach already. It's unbelievable stuff. Really is good.
Well, apparently you've got to try the poisonous snake juice here in Japan.
Nah. That don't sound too appetizing.
No, it doesn't really.
The actual drink itself, when you mix it all up, it looks like mulligatawny soup.
I would imagine it would, yeah.
It works. It's doing the job. But this all relates down to the conspiracies of pharmaceutical companies keeping you away from certain medicines that are literally on your doorstep.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they do, because if you, heaven forbid, you see. I mean, the thing was, like, when you look back, we've said it loads of times before. When you look back at the Assizes of Essex and all the witch trials around the world and everything, a lot of people weren't witches, and the ones that were white witches or hedge witches, and they knew about herbs and spices and this, that, and the other, and they knew about like how natural medicine could do this, that, and the other,
Yeah.
And then now you've got the pharmaceutical giants. You go, oh no, you don't go down the homeopathic way because it won't do anything for you. Bollocks, mate.
I mean, it also started at home. It started in the home because I can remember as a child, my mum telling me to keep away from dandelions. Dandelions were bad for you. Don't smell a dandelion; it'll make you wet the bed. Don't touch the juice because it's poisonous, blah, blah, blah. Now it turns out that actually if you boil the root of the dandelion, the leaves of the dandelion, the stalks and the flower head of the dandelion, it's actually good for your body.
I take dandelion extract every day.
And then when you look into it, it turns out that the company, one of the leading pharmaceutical companies, is also... I don't need no...
Hang on.
Have you ever seen a rhino with a horn?
It's frightening. It comes after you with a good big hard on. Yeah.
I used to look after rhinos, and one of them was a bit of a randy sod, and their private parts are huge. But anyway, I forgot what I was talking about now.
Let's change it. Look, let's stop talking about rhinos.
The biggest pharmaceutical company.
That's right.
Also owns a company that makes Roundup, which is a weed killer specifically designed to kill dandelions.
Well,
so they're after their own interests.
Well, dandelion root extract is very, very good for you, and it's a cancer killer. And oil of frankincense is a cancer killer, and I take them both to keep my cancer away.
Yep.
So touch wood.
It's all about the money.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't put the light on, have I? Yeah. There you go. Cod liver oil, I take that every day as well. And Andrew's liver salts clean anyone out. Oh, it shifts bacon from 1978. That stuff. Ooh.
Yeah, I won't take cod liver oil because at the moment they're a threatened species. They're not as sustainable. So they need to make haddock liver oil.
Anything. It's. I used to get boxer's arthritis from years, and I've taken cod liver oil for donkey's years now, and I don't get it. Don't get any arthritis at all.
I got cod liver oil for Ethan for hips, but he keeps forgetting to take it now because he's on other medications. So
yeah, you have to take it every day, and omega-3. Yeah, it's good stuff. I might go over that from cod liver oil actually, but yeah, it's good stuff. So there you go. We've got everybody talking about oils and hard-ons and pills to make you have a hard-on as well. So yeah, there you go. The show's off to a banging start already.
We're off to a good start.
It's banging away there. Anyway, use 1 tablespoon apple cider vinegar. That was the diet she was doing. It wasn't lemon juice. It was apple cider vinegar. Yeah, apple cider vinegar for aches and pains. Yeah, Taylor uses it. What was
Yeah, I
gonna
can't
say?
remember. I can't remember the name of the doctor, but apparently she was fired from the company she worked for simply because she was telling people about these homeopathic medicines that saved them a lot of money and sort of took a lot of money away from the big pharmaceutical companies. So she ended up losing her job because of it. So now she just does videos and meetings and stuff, just talking about what good Mother Nature has on your doorstep that you can use to keep yourself from being ill.
Well, I must admit, I'm very tempted to go down the homeopathic route. I mean, I get high blood pressure and I'm on blood pressure tablets for it, but I've been reading up on the effects of them long term, and it's bloody horrific. So I'm thinking of trying to go down the homeopathic route for that.
Well,
because, you know,
I suffered. Oh shit! Hang on a minute. I'm just diving in my fridge.
have you just dropped your bollocks on the floor again?
No, I dropped Chloe's peach Lipton iced tea. As you know, I suffered badly from arthritic gout.
That's right, yeah. No, exactly, Alison. Thank you. What's that, cherry?
Cherry. It's called Cherry Aid. Ugh. It's called Cherry Aid.
Yeah.
It's concentrated tart cherry juice. There's 2,000 cherries in that bottle. And that gets rid of the inflammation of gout.
Oh, okay.
And I think I paid, it's normally £13 in the shops. I paid $9.99 for it. And it gets rid of it just like that. Out of the 5 cases of gout I've had, I've only ever had to go to the doctor twice.
There you go.
So it shows that them sort of medicines do work.
And if anybody knows any fat burners for the lower stomach, because I've got quite big muscles on the top half, but the lower stomach, I'm built for comfort, not for speed. And I've been trying everything to get rid of that, and nothing gets bloody rid of it. I used to go to the gym all the time, everything, nothing got rid of it. I don't know. Anyway,
muscle crunches.
I used to. That's why I've got big muscles on the top half. I used to do all of them.
Heinz baked beans.
No, that just makes me fart a lot.
Exactly. And what do you do to force a fart out? Tense your stomach muscles.
And you do your Kegels as well.
Laughing. That's good for your stomach muscles.
Yeah, I think in my new job now, I think if I was farting all the time, I'd probably lose my job.
Well, or you'd have cold passengers because you'd have the windows open all the time.
No, wouldn't they just be like, "Oh, you're doing really well."
That was one thing we did notice with that concoction I drink every morning. It does make your wind smell. It's like eating a strong. It's like eating a strong curry. It's really bad.
Yeah. What is devil's tongue then? Devil's Cognacu. Cognacu. I don't know if I said that properly, but Cognacu.
Cognacu.
Lilo the Tuxedo Cat. But I was going to put the backdrop off. I've got a massive backdrop that somebody gave me. Abby gave me for Christmas, and it's aliens. It's aliens, but it goes right across the whole of the wall. So I've got to buy some hooks to put it up. I thought I was going to put it up today, but forgot to buy the hooks.
Right. Apparently, it's part of the cognac. The common names for the Amorphophallus cognac, a vegetable species native to Yunnan in southwest China, which has an edible corm. It is also known as konjaku, konyaku, potato, devil's tongue, voodoo lily, snake palm, and elephant yam.
Okay. What was that first name? Something phallus. I picked up on that straight away. You said it was something with a phallus, and I thought,
no. Amorphophallus.
Amorphophallus. So
yeah, but if you,
it's a morphing willy, basically.
It's been called that because of what it looks like.
Yep, there you go. Oh God. Oh dear. Oh, I can see why it's called that now.
How rude.
Alison, I heard it too. It sounds dirty.
It's not for this show.
Oh, come on. It's this show. This show's full of smut. I don't know. Excuse the barking. Badger's going mental downstairs. I don't know. What was I going to say? What do you... all this nonsense that's been going on with this shopping mall, what do you make of it now? And you guys in the chat room as well. We'll get back to Nature's stuff in a minute.
I've walked away from the shopping mall shit. I think it's all a load of crap. I think it's basically something else has happened there, and people have just decided to sort of try and pass the blame on something else so they can try and get away from the authorities. There's too much going on in America at the moment, and I think the problem there is that, like you say, that there's 60 police cars turn up, which is near enough the entire Florida police force has turned up in droves over two gangs having a go at each other. Yeah.
The original call started as it was an illegal car meet, and then some twats let off fireworks inside the shopping mall, and then I saw I've been told to get me mine out the gutter, and Irene, I will hold you to that. If ever Rachel and I can afford to come over to Japan for a holiday, we will. Yeah, and I saw some of the videos from inside, and most of the videos they were saying of 10-foot tall aliens with fucking statues, like statues, and you could see there were statues. And then you had that stupid video going flick, 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 of people who, they may have been a basketball team down there, but it was still, one of them had a hat on. So, it was still bollocks, absolute bollocks. And all this, I've been watching the videos where they've swapped the coordinates, and they haven't. What they've done is swap north for south and west for east and this, that, and it takes you to Antarctica and the North Pole on both of them. But
I think the problem was there as well was the first lot of videos that came out and said, look at them, the aliens are outside the mall, and it turned out to be the statues. It was because that video was so out of focus and from such a distance that it pixeled.
Yeah, the three people walking together went.
So the second you zoomed in on it, it just turned it into a congealed mass. There was just no structure there whatsoever, but you could just make out three individual heads.
Yeah,
and it just looked completely wrong. And I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I'm sorry, but there's too many conflicting stories going on with what happened there. So I don't think you're ever going to learn the real full thing that's going on there, because there's so many, like we said before. For any truthful video that goes out there, there's 1,000 false ones that get added to it.
Look at all this now, and this has annoyed the living shit out of me. Disclosure, right? Now, in Disclosure, you had, and I can never remember the guy's Grosh, whatever his fucking name is. Who used to be, he's gone around doing all the stuff for the government, got all these reports, and then went, you know what? We need to come forward for this. He's gone to the Senate, and he at his own risk and his family's risk, and he stood up and said, "Yeah, there are." Sorry, my eyes are watering like mad. Yes, there are UFOs. There are alien entities. There are, or biologics, as he called it. I've gone all around the world interviewing people, and these people are very credible people. And loads of people have said, "Yep, it's real. Yep, it's real." And then the American government turned around and said, "Yeah, actually, it's real. We can't give you much details, but it is real, and we have been in contact with them." Then the British government, somebody in the British government turned around and said, "Yeah, it's real. We've been talking to them for ages." And then all the other governments started to follow suit. Russia has as well. And then all of a sudden, the US Senate, the US Senate decided to open up that other investigating wing, and you had that prick with a beard and glasses who's turned around and gone, "Nah, it's all bollocks. Nah, there's no such thing as aliens. No such thing as wanker. Absolute wanker. It's too late to do your disinformation stuff. The government's already said it's real, it's here, it's now."
He sort of joined the club about a couple of years too late.
It's literally made him look a complete knob. And he worked for the government, and he came, "Oh, no, there's no such thing. No such thing. The government have asked me to do this, investigate it. Look, nothing. Mate,
he forgot to read the memo.
He's a twat, absolute twat. Him and his fucking beard. I'm telling you, turning around and saying, no, nothing to see here, nothing to see here. After almost every single government in the world has said, yeah, actually, there is. I do think that those face peelers in South America, I still think that's man-made. Listening to that girl talking, that two of them were talking with regional accents. No. I think they've got technology that we don't have, but
again, I think on that side of things, there has been too many stories coming out of South America and different things going on.
Thank you, Lois.
And it just seems a little bit too coincidental.
There is lots of stuff going on in South America, and there always has been. And you know yourself, when we've, in fact, no, not always has been. There has been, but it's been pushed aside and poo-pooed. But it's only been the last 2 years, 2, 3, possibly 3 years, that the South Americans have started to go, and we're starting to get really clear videos and stuff. So, you know, like I say, the fact that all the governments of the world have gone, yeah, okay, we may have been lying to you, yeah, they're real, and then the American government does a last ditch attempt of tell them it's not real, and then him and his beard come on and go, here's my beard, it's not real, fuck off.
Yeah, but the problem is that you've got all of these different things. All these different things were going on in South America. You got all these burglars that are dressing up on purpose to scare the villagers so they would leave their homes so they could raid them. Then you've got so-called drug barons were doing the similar thing somewhere else to try and scare the locals away so they wouldn't get done.
Legal gold miners, drug barons.
And then they all got found out. Then all of a sudden something else pops up. And it's one after the other. You know, if it was all at the same time, happening all at once, all over the place in South America, then that would probably be a little bit more substantial. But it's not. It's one after the other each time. It's almost as if, oh, well, that was a good idea. Maybe we'll try that. You know, and you just think, really, it just seems a little bit too much. And I think that's where we were coming from when we said for every decent video there is that comes out on the internet, there's 1,000 that get flooded in between that. So it blindsides you away from what's real and what's not.
Yeah.
But
Robert's right. Pioneer 1 putting a map on it. Yeah, we all know it's there.
Yeah.
And I mean the British fleet, one of our subs, and I can't remember which bloody sub it was. I was reading this the other day. Had 2 sonar contacts following them for 2 weeks. 2 weeks, and these things would go from standstill to like 700, 800 miles an hour in the water, and then right angles, like exactly as they do up in space, you know, and up in the air.
Well, there was supposedly a few years ago that someone actually come out and said that there was an entrance to a base under the water off the coast of California. And when you Google it, you can actually see whether it's submarine base or a UAP base.
It's like columns, isn't it?
Yeah, you can see four what look like 4 entrances under the water on a cliff edge. Yeah, and they're perfectly square. They're perfectly square. Again, how much of that is real? Could that have been photoshopped? You know, but until somebody goes out there and actually looks and films it, we're not going to know. All it's going to be is speculation. It's going to be hearsay until somebody actually goes there and actually investigates it properly.
Well, the thing is, it's like we know more about the space than we do about the ocean.
Yeah.
You know, and you've got all these trenches that you supposedly can't get underneath the layers. The dogs are going mental because Rachel's just come back from work. So ignore that. Ghost! She stopped. Right, my gob. And yeah, the Marianas Trench, deepest trench on the planet. Excuse me. It's got that layer that we supposedly can't down. We can get down almost to the bottom, even with our submersibles, with the pressure and everything. But it's got that silt layer, or whatever the hell it is. It's got some weird ass layer that we cannot get underneath. Apparently, we've got all this technology; it can go up into space, but we can't get through this layer in the sea. And they reckon that underneath that layer is a whole new world.
I think that's to do with what's they call it, thermo something, isn't it? It's a thermo resilient layer or something stupid, and it's where the level of the water at a certain depth gets to a certain temperature.
Hey, Viv.
And it allows certain water to flow at that level, and then all the normal water at a different temperature is above it. So you've got those two different layers of water. And I think it's not knowing what's in that water that could damage the submersive and what would be underneath that layer. You know, it's like it's stepping into the unknown, isn't it? You know, it's before space travel. We all thought to ourselves, well, what would happen if we were able to get up there?
Yep.
Not knowing anything about an atmosphere or you know, when are you in true space? So you've left Earth's atmosphere and into space where there is no atmosphere. You know, it's the same principle and the same theory of, you know, what would happen if we go underneath that layer?
Yeah.
Are we going to come across freezing or frozen water? Are we going to come across these? I mean, well, we've seen them before when they've been washed up on the beaches, these giant oarfish. That are normally at the severe deep depths of the ocean. And storms have managed to sort of disorientate them, so they've ended up coming up and they've been washed ashore.
I thought they were called giant mother-in-law fish because they just fuck ugly. Anyway,
50 meter long oarfish washes up on an Australian beach, and you're like, well, where's that come from? You know, but it's knowing what's down there.
When you, if you guys out in the chat room and everything, and everybody else who's watching this, take into account the Marianas Trench, take the layer that we apparently can't get underneath, which I think is rubbish, and then take in the
Robert, are you looking at my t-shirt?
And then take in the those seismographs that were done. Remember when they were setting off bombs, basically, and they were the echoes were going down about 4 or 5 miles into the earth, and then they were taking the things. They found a lake of fresh water under the earth that's got more water in it than all our seas put together. They have found forests, I think it's 3 miles down under the crust of the earth. How the fucking hell are these forests growing for a start with no sun? There's lakes under there. Then you've got this trench. Then you've got all these monsters that are supposed to be there, and all these UFOs and aliens, and all this stuff. Add it all together. There's a whole nother world under there. Like Admiral Byrd, you know, when he went to New Schwabenland with his fleet and got attacked by the 2 UFOs, the Nazi ones. Well, he allegedly went into the hole in Antarctica, didn't he? And flew into one of those places. So, you know.
I mean, the thing is like we say, for a tree to use photosynthesis, it needs the sun's light.
Yeah.
So it would have to be a species of plant that doesn't need sunlight.
Yeah.
Unless there is which I find it highly unlikely, another sun in that area, and that just wouldn't work. So it would either have to be an artificial sun, or the plants that are down there do not need to rely on photosynthesis using the sun's light.
Or, and here's another one. This is something I've just thought of. Do you think that there could be, because you know on I don't know if you've seen that thing with Will Smith where he talks about all different planets and stuff. There's a juxtaposition that there's lots of fungi and things like that are bioluminescent, and they light up these places. Do you reckon we've got things down there that are just bioluminescent and massive?
Well, that is more likely, because obviously you need, our trees need the sunlight. Photosynthesis wouldn't happen without sunlight. So, they're taking in the carbon dioxide, but also getting the sun's light at the same time and giving out oxygen. Without the sunlight, photosynthesis would be very severely disabled. And then,
what are you saying? Did I not get enough sun?
If you're then underground and there is no sunlight, I mean, you look at mushrooms. Mushrooms thrive in the dark.
Yeah, rhubarb.
and rhubarb. So all those plants thrive in the dark. So if anything, without bioluminescence, you would have things like rhubarb and fungus. So who's to say there's not like a 40-foot, 30-foot tall mushroom tree
That's lit up like a Christmas tree.
that uses bioluminescence?
Yeah.
You know, it's, I don't know, it's possible. I mean, at the end of the day, until we actually look into it properly and actually go to these places and see what these places and whether they're true or not, it's all going to be just theory. And we know what happens with theories. You come out with theories until they're scientific fact.
Well, it's like is it Lake Vladivostok, the one that was under the ice at Antarctica that they actually drilled into, and they got a lift and everything that goes down there now. And there's supposedly species 8B or whatever it's called, that super intelligent octopus thing that was ripping everybody to bits. That's supposed to be down there.
Well, they found bird flu there, didn't they, a couple of weeks ago?
Bird flu? What, down in the water?
Yeah, they found bird flu in elephant and fur seals.
Fucking hell.
So, you know, the virus has gotten down there. And when you think about the wildlife that's down there, it tends to be penguins, which obviously are birds.
Yeah.
But the penguins don't migrate.
Yeah.
So how would they contract bird flu? And how would they give it to, and that's the only way it would pass on to the elephant and seal pups.
Can you get elephant flu? If so, do
elephant
you get
seals, not elephant as in elephant?
Oh, right. I was thinking the sneezers must be huge.
I don't know. There might have been elephants buried under the ice.
Well,
it's all part of Pangea. It's quite possible.
The thing that gets me is they've been digging up, getting all the viruses and things that are around 30,000 years ago, and it's like, stop.
Yeah,
stop. We know what happened when your viruses went daft with the bloody thingy bob. Yeah. Thingy. Yeah.
Mm. It's like what was it? I think there was a village in Italy. They kicked all the people out because they wanted to build a reservoir there.
Oh, is that the one you can hear the bell tolling?
No, that was an old tale of Dunwich. You could hear the bells ringing, but they kicked the people out of this whole village. They did compulsory purchase on their houses because they wanted to build a reservoir. And there was a massive drought, and all of a sudden,
COVID,
the water disappeared because of the drought, and all the buildings resurfaced, and people were going in to see if anybody had left anything behind.
A thingy bob is an English saying. It's like when you forget something, you go, "Oh, you know that thing, thingy,
the thingy bob,
thingy bob."
Or thingamy bob was describing a person who you can't remember the name of.
Yeah. You know, thingy
bob.
Yeah. That's what it means.
Or it's a shop. We've got a shop down here called Thingamy Bob's.
Have you?
Yeah. He just sells all sorts of weird stuff really cheap.
That's like Poundland doing vibrators. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I paused my
but it's no different to Tesco selling them.
Yeah, but Poundland vibrators, you put your battery in, turn it on, it'll probably explode in your hand.
Hey, cheaper alternative.
I suppose it's got to be better than Wish, isn't it?
You know what they say about when you turn around to someone and say you might want to shut your mouth or stick a firework up your ass. Well, that would be what you do with a Poundland.
Yeah.
A Poundland vibrator.
Poundland vibrators, who'd have thunk? Hey. The things we talk about on this show, I don't know. Yeah, I think that Miami mole thing was a load of bollocks. Although some of the videos I've seen of these witnesses, they've all said very, very, very similar stuff, and it's all been from one part of the mole where they've just seen this very similar stuff. And it's been the things with the things phasing in and out. Hello. Mrs. Rachel has just come home from work.
Hey, Mrs. Rachel. The problem
I won't have my
is,
eh?
the problem is now is when you look at these people that have actually come up with these witness statements, is how many of these witnesses actually know each other?
Mm.
Do they know each other? Because they could have very easily have just had a reporter point a camera in their face and gone, "Oh yeah, I saw this alien walking down here, blah blah blah," and then go to the next person who happens to be the brother of the person that was on previously, and goes, "Oh yeah, well I saw him step out of a portal." Then the third person could be, I don't know, the cousin, and she turns around and says, "Oh, I saw two of them come out of a portal and they went off down there towards Starbucks." You know, how many of those people know each other or knew each other, or was it set up on purpose?
Just say hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
There you go.
Hello,
Hello. It's nice, yeah.
hello.
I do. There's a lot. This linking it to Antarctica is so far out there.
Well, I mean, I looked at the. I kept going back to the video, and I kept looking at it. I'm thinking something's not right here. She's saying it's the direct opposite.
They caught an animal. Oh my god! I completely misread that. I thought it said they caught another animal harder. They caught another animal hard on here in Connecticut, and I had visions of police going around catching dogs by the willies. Yeah.
Oh, that's what I was saying now.
What are you doing to him?
I don't know. We were talking about dog cocks. Oh dear! Trying to match Antarctica to the mole.
Yeah, I kept looking at that video, and I'm looking at the coordinates, and I'm going, something's not right here, because the opposite of northwest is southeast.
Yeah,
and yet the reversed coordinates weren't southeast.
Ghost.
And I'm like, the first coordinate was northwest. To reverse that would be southeast.
Yeah,
to be the other way, the opposite way. So those coordinates don't match up. They're not making Antarctica at all in any way, shape, or form. I did think of actually putting the coordinates into Google Maps and seeing where that did point up, but I didn't need to, because I knew straight away the opposite of northwest is southeast, not northeast. You know,
they weren't doing that. They were literally changing south for north and east for west.
Yeah,
they
weren't doing the direct opposite of northwest, which would have been southeast.
No, we know, Robert. We know. We're just talking about these people who've been swapping the coordinates around for
the North Pole moves. The North Pole moves quarter of an inch a year.
There's so many different North Poles at the moment.
Yes, but that's because the Earth is tilted on its axis, and it is slowly tilting. So eventually,
Wales as well.
Eventually, in God knows how many years' time, it's the North Pole is going to be where the equator is now.
That's right.
Eventually.
Yeah.
But that you're looking probably millions of years before that ever happens, because the Earth is, obviously the size of the planet. It would take that long to actually shift round to that way. And this is why a lot of people are looking at global warming not being what it says on the can and what everybody's telling us. Simply because with the Earth shifting, if the North and South Pole moves, there is also going to be a middle version of a North and South Pole, where it's tilting on its axis, it's moving the equator at the same time.
Yeah.
So, in respect, the angle of the equator is going to shift as the Earth starts tilting. So, again, places that are on the equator will end up being the North Pole, and places that were the North and South Pole will end up being the equator.
Bloody hell, Yorkshire might actually be warm for once.
Not cold.
Will it happen before February?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. Remember, guys, on the 10th of February, we'll be doing a special live, and we'll do a live investigation where we'll be investigating, but we'll be broadcasting it live. So if you see anything, put it in the comments and stuff, and then we can have a look later when we finish the investigation.
Yes.
and we can run it all back and see what you saw. Right. Do you know anything about the Emerald Scrolls of Thoth? Or Thoth, I don't even know how you pronounce it.
No.
Right. You've got the Dead Sea Scrolls, and there's also a thing called the Emerald Scrolls of Thoth. Thoth was the Egyptian god of wisdom. In this scroll, there's been new things on it. It's been translated. And in it, he says, I, Thoth, the Atlantean. Now, keep that in mind. The Egyptians supposedly worshipped, the start of their dynasties, their gods were the Anunnaki. Yeah? The Anunnaki came from Nibiru, all this stuff, but they set up mega cities around the world. Only a few of them. One of them was Atlantis. And it was all linked. The mega city they're supposed to have found in Antarctica was one of those and linked to it. And these are like 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 200, 300,000 years old. So what that tells me is the Egyptian gods were the Anunnaki. And when you look at the legends of their technology and this, that, and the other, they were going all over the world, getting people that they'd made with us, you know, and taking us to South America. And there's statues in South America that depict African males, which there's no bloody way they could have been there because these statues are thousands of years old. Yeah. And there's also, it's all mixed up and mix and match. But when you put it all together and you read about the Anunnaki and you read the Emerald Scrolls and this, that, and the other, everything is there for us. All the denying that we're the only intelligent beings that have ever been here, this, that, and the other. Bollocks, absolute bollocks. We're like humans Mark II, Mark III, Mark IV. The cat's trying to attack herself in the mirror on the wardrobe. No. You know, and you look at all this stuff and it's there. The gods, the Egyptian gods, they were, you know, Atlanteans, they were Anunnaki. They were just people from other planets who had technology we could never dream of.
I mean, I got someone thinking about it all the other day because, I mean, they were raised Catholic. And we were talking about it the other day, and I turned around to them and I said, look at it. I said, and me and Mark have discussed this on our show on many occasions, that when you look at all the manuscripts from all different religions in different timelines are all the same in comparison with each other. I said, but then when you look at the main religion, there's Dead Sea Scrolls that have been missing and kept out of the Bible, have been withheld. And that is because the contents of those Dead Sea Scrolls would void that religion altogether. It wouldn't exist if it was for them Dead Sea Scrolls to be seen. So they've kept them out of the way. They don't want that information being known because it would, their translation would be lost and there would be no meaning to the Bible whatsoever because there'd be too much weird stuff. I said, but when you look at what the Sumerians had written, and the Sumerians were spot on with what they wrote, and this predates all of the religions that are around now. And it states that there were these gods, the Anunnaki, and the Nephilim, and us as the end result.
Yep.
And she was like, I saw something about that the other day. I didn't think about looking into that. I said, well, you might want to. I said, because if you look at all the timelines, they're all there. They're all in the right place. But if you piece things together, you will get the explanation is what all of the religions are talking about, but just in a different way. And they've just changed things and moved things about so that it blindsides you into their way of thinking rather than the real way of thinking.
Well, when you look at all of them, I think the only one that talks about people from other places and stuff is the Torah. And the Torah talks about golems and things like that as well. And the golems work by putting something in their head, you know, putting their chem inside their head or inside their mouths, which has the book of words on it, the book of spells on it. It has the spell to bring it to life and everything. When you look back into it and you look at when golems were the first report or first written thing about golem comes from thousands of years ago when the Anunnaki was supposed to have been here. So was it really clay men being brought to life or was it automatons?
Well, I mean, what was it? I think it's the Sumerian scriptures are something like 2,300 BC.
That's right. Yeah.
There was 2,500 years before Christ.
Look at this king's list, and the kings lived for a minimum of 75,000 years. One king.
Yeah. So, it's and like Irene says, we're the making of the gods who created man. Well, that's what the Anunnaki did. The Anunnaki created human beings to serve them. Then the other Anunnaki fell in love with their creation, and the Nephilim came along. And then, something like that. And then the Nephilim mated again, and so on over the generations. We ended up as we are now. But we were created in that process.
Our DNA was sealed so that we couldn't. We were very long lived, and then it was sealed, and it's been proven with scientific stuff that a lot of our junk DNA is also to do with it, and a lot of our junk DNA, they have no idea what we're supposed to do. So I think everyone becomes a god after 100 days of death, so becomes a superior being, but it's totally the opposite of what Western world is taught, and then church, so it contradicts belief.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you look at the gods, all the gods, we've said it before: the Greek, the Romans, the Celtic, the soothsayers, all that stuff, Japanese, Chinese, Egyptian, they all have a Parthenon of the gods. In other words, they've got a head god and these other gods underneath, and they all do the same job. And every single bloody religion, they do the same thing. It was only when a Roman emperor came along and said, I think we need to have the Roman Catholic, we need to have a proper religion, we need to have
it was the Egyptians as well, weren't it? Said
the same as
worship one god.
It was Akhenaten, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Son of the Aten, son of the sun.
So I mean, when you look at those religions, they were all the same. You look at the Greeks, the Romans, the Egyptians. They all had a Parthenon of gods, and then all of a sudden, this Parthenon of gods disappeared to worship just one god. Why? And like
Heaven forbid, we worship others.
And like in what Irene has said, 100 days after death, you become a god, technically. So that is going back to, that would then go reverting back to the Anunnaki, Nephilim, etc. So it would...
He had the golden blood. He had Ramesses had the golden blood. The universal blood. My mum's got it. Yeah.
Which they claim to be alien DNA.
Yeah, because it doesn't link back to any other form of hominid.
I've either grown or my cans have got smaller.
Your cans have got smaller, mate. Definitely.
It's
like Cadbury's green eggs. But yeah, when you look at the Bible, again, we've spoken about it before. Don't get me wrong. None of us are knocking religion. If you're religious and stuff, that's cool. You believe what you want to believe. We're not going to knock it. We're not going to poo-poo it for you. But when, like us, you have so much research to do and you look into all these things, you begin to realize that the gods aren't what we think they are. And God singular. No, sorry. It was God's. You're supposed to put that in your mouth and not on your trousers, don't you? We're trying to eat curry.
I must admit, when I was at school, I didn't understand why the Bible did not mention all these other gods.
Look at them taking Mary out of it. The book of the Bible of Mary.
Mary Magdalene.
Yeah, and Enoch.
Yep. And that actually raised the question the other day with the same person, actually. What is in the vaults of the Vatican? We know some of the stuff that's there, but there's stuff down there that we know nothing about. And I've got a suspicion. I think there's a lot of missing Nazi gold and art down there. Because we know for a fact that the regime paid the Catholic Church to get a lot of officers out of Germany and to South America, and the Catholic Church was used to harbour some of those officers and in fact give them surgery to change their appearance.
There's also a legend that when Hitler sent out his paranormal arm of the SS, they found lots of the artifacts, and part of the deal was they surrendered the artifacts to the Vatican.
Yeah,
and they're supposed to be like the Spear of Destiny and everything down there as well.
Well, Himmler had his castle, didn't he, with the black sun in the middle of the main hall.
That's right.
They found a load of stuff there, didn't they?
That's right.
So, I mean, the problem is when you're in the occult, you know, the Catholic Church would have
call me?
Hey?
I said, what did you just call me? In the occult.
The occult. You know, the Catholic Church would have agreed with them to take some of these items and give them safe passage. And they know for a fact that there were some Catholic churches in northern and southern Spain that were used to take some of these people in.
That's right.
Before they were taken down to the Canary Islands, where they were taken over to South America.
Yeah.
Even then. So, who's to say that Himmler and Adolf hadn't agreed to take them in? But in the Shinto faith, we have superior Buddhist faith, and it's about all the other Buddhist faiths. So there are classes of Buddhism, and mine is Shinto because my relatives were all the same level. It's a Shogun samurai. Not everyone goes to a Shinto shrine.
That's right.
Thing is, not everybody goes to church. You know, you don't have to go to church to be a believer in it. Unless, of course, you know, if you're in that religion devoutly, you know, I mean, some people, they go to church a couple of times a week, don't they, or even every day. The cat food stinks. Sorry, but that or your curry.
Well, I'm eating.
I've got smell-o-vision.
Dansak is sweet, sour, and hot, so it's got pineapple in it. And right now, my mouth is on fire.
A bit like Kung Po.
Yeah.
I used to make them.
My mouth's on fire at the moment, so I strongly suspect my bum will be melting tomorrow.
I used to make a good Kung Po chicken.
Kung Po chicken's nice.
Yeah. Based on sweet and sour.
That thing about the Anunnaki having a scrap, right? The good Anunnaki wanted us to succeed. They wanted to see their creation succeed. And one of them, the head one, even wanted us to, he said, one day we might do better than them and go further than them. There was two brothers. There was Enki and Enlil. I can't remember which is a good one, which is the bad one. But the bad one did not agree with that. Didn't like that us being made and suddenly being the favourites. And he was like, no, they're our slaves. And what he used to do was whenever he got pissed off with them, he'd just wipe out his lot and start again and get a new lot. And then they ended up having a scrap because one wanted us to be good and grow and prosper. One wanted us as slaves. No, fuck them. They can die. And this is why all the religious books have good and bad warring over us. And the closest one to it, and we've said it so many times in it, that tells the truth, is the Mahabharata, which talks about the gods and the demons having a scrap in the sky, using their UFOs, their Vimanas, which tells you how to build them and what they run on. It tells about using lasers and thermonuclear weapons and all kinds of other weapons. And in these places where these wars were supposed to have happened, there's still radiation in the ground where something thermonuclear has hit the ground in India and Pakistan and all that sort of area. And it's been measured, and it happened about 25, 30, 40, 50,000 years ago. And that's the closest thing to it that tells the truth.
Thing is, if you narrow it down in all the religions where they say it's good versus evil, angels versus demons, it's just the good Anunnaki against the bad Anunnaki. Yeah. They've just been retranslated and renamed angels and demons. And I've never believed in angels and demons. I've always thought there are good and bad, but they're not angels and demons. They're something else. And that seems the more pleasable thing than standing there saying angels and demons or fallen angels. You know, it's...
Well, in everything, there's good and bad. There's yin yang. there's different dimensions, and I strongly suspect there's bad dimensions and there's good dimensions. Some dimensions are an atom's width away, but we just don't have the technology to go and go in there, you know. But I think a hell of a lot of religion is not what it's meant to be. I do think if you're spiritual, I think that's a lot closer to what there is. I do think when you die, that's not it. But I think that's possibly going on to another plane or another dimension and going on to something else. There's supposed to be options when you die. It's not just good and bad. It's not just heaven and hell. It's when you go through, there's options. However, you do have to face what you've done in this life.
God.
What?
Ellen's gone. I don't care as long as I'm surrounded by pandas.
So when Ellen gets reincarnated, she's going to work for the WWE.
No, she's going to come back as a stick of bamboo.
I mean, WWE, that's like this.
There won't be any left by the time you die.
I don't know. Their breeding last year was pretty good.
Maybe when you reincarnate on a different plane, on a different planet, and there you've got real pandas that walk and talk like Kung Fu Panda. You could be a Mrs. Kung Fu Panda.
Maybe she could reincarnate as a panda.
She could reincarnate as a panda.
Could be incarnated as a planet. There you go.
No, I'm going to be a panda. I swear I was a panda.
She wants to come back as a panda.
Right, everybody knows.
I never really thought of what I'd want to come back as, to be honest.
I don't know if I want to reincarnate again. I think we're done with that. We need to move on to something else.
I think I'd. Do you know what? If I could come back as anything, I think I would want to come back as light. So I could just travel the stars, just keep going.
I think it could just be emotion.
You wouldn't want to be stuck in one place. I just want to literally go in a straight line and just keep going and just see everything that's out there. Can you imagine it though? Being like you'd be like the James Webb Telescope. You just go off in a direction and just keep going and being able to see all those different things.
Well, Rachel wants to come back as an emotion, happiness. Willow wants to come back as a lioness.
The lioness.
I think I'm going to come back as the captain of the USS Enterprise.
They're gonna have to build it first.
Go everywhere and see everything.
Just as long as you don't meet that race of civilization that one on that clip you sent me.
Yeah. I'll send you, Dennis. I sent you a joke.
Actually, fine. Don't make that rich, because he went that rich.
I've got a sneaky suspicion we're going back to smut again.
Yeah, I'm not going to even mention that on here. I'll put the link to this joke I sent Wayne. I'll put it on the wall later, and you can have a look for yourselves. I'm not going to do it on here. It was hilarious.
It was quite funny.
It's the things he was coming out with. When I
to start off with, when I first saw it, I thought it was going to be quite serious and being quite good, and then I'm like, "Oh my god!"
You're on, Eric. I thought it was going to be serious, and then as it got going, I was like, "Oh, hang on." I don't know. That was funny, that.
But yeah, I mean, I think on a serious note, I'd like to come back as something that would enable me to be able to see loads of different things. So a beam of light would be, I think, nice. Very interesting verse from a book, I believe, about the Anunnaki. I'll make it so you cannot breed. Strange that O negative blood group, until science found a way around it, could not carry a child that did not have the O negative blood. Body would attack it, treat it like a parasite and kill it off. Exactly. I mean, it's like it's very similar. It's very similar to when a human being has a transplant of any kind. Medication has to be given to stop the body from attacking it.
Mm-hmm.
Once the body then has accepted it, which could take however long, then it's a case of monitoring to make sure that the body doesn't attack it again. So you know, it would stand to reason that if you have anything like that, your body is going to attack it.
Well, once you have a transplant and you're on anti-rejection drugs for life, because as soon as you come off from it, it starts attacking again. You have to be on for life.
So you know you've got to have those things put in place, otherwise you're just going to go tits up, isn't it?
I think personally, if I'm going to come back as the person that runs the biggest starship around and goes all around the world, I think you should be my first mate. Do you know why?
I thought we were in 2 lifetimes.
Yeah, but it means you get the hand of captain. You get the hand of the captain's log, innit?
Who'd want to handle your log? Seriously,
Eh?
you're going to give Rachel the job of being a toilet cleaner? That's not fair, is it?
You could be my Uhura.
It's more of a twig anyway, man.
It's more of a twig. Do you want to wear that curry? Seriously. Still in this Grand Canyon. Right. Talking of the Grand Canyon before we disappear. Have you seen that they found that opening that suddenly appeared in the Grand Canyon? It's been man-made. And if you look, you can see that concrete reinforcement.
There has been a couple of places found in the Grand Canyon, but the federal government has stopped people from going into that section to stop them from going down there. And there's a guy that actually went in one of them caves and actually found. He thought it was just a room inside the cliff edge, and it had all been made nicely on the front.
That's
and
right.
when he went in, he actually discovered there was other rooms going inside, going further in. But some of the Grand Canyon has been closed off to stop people from going in and finding these places.
Yeah, strange that. And wasn't there? In fact, we'll talk about this next week. Wasn't there an old prospector who found basically a city under there, and he found remains of beings a lot bigger than us?
I think that's what urged the federal government to close that area off.
Yeah,
because they didn't want people going in there and exploring it, because they didn't know how big it was, and if they went in there, would they ever come out again?
that's a bit like going under the duvet after you farted, isn't it? Will they ever get to come out again?
Dutch oven.
Yeah, Dutch oven. Yeah.
Bit of a Dutch apple pie going on there.
Well, it's kind of like a Yorkshire microwave, but yeah. She's not saying anything, but my God, she's glaring at me. Why would you eat during a show? You're gone. Why? Because I've not eaten all day and it's so late at night. I'm terribly sorry you took offence to that, young man. Anyway, I was just about to say on that note, we're going to disappear anyway, so I can actually finish my dinner. But I see somebody's already gone because they took offence. Terribly sorry. If you watched this show before, you know we do this anyway. We eat and we drink and we swear and we fart, and occasionally Wayne smokes. And there's Mrs. Ellen. Sometimes you hear her eating in the background as well. Isn't it?
Or waving goodbye.
I'm going up to bed because I feel like shit.
Okay, you do that. I will talk to you again. See you later.
Bye.
But yeah, everybody else, thank you very much for watching. And next week, we'll turn out some stuff on the Grand Canyon and Hidden Cities, shall we? And I will make sure I've eaten my dinner before we do the show, because I don't want to offend sensitive viewers.
And there was me. I was going to have my jar of jelly beans and nibble on some of them during the show as well. I don't think I'll bother doing that next week.
Seriously, look at this. Look, just sorry. What? Why? Dude. Anyway, on that note,
I was drinking a cup of coffee. Was there a problem with that as well?
Well, some people, I don't know, guys. Thank you very much for staying, and everybody watching us on Simply Spooky Network, Things Network, YouTube, Twitter, and I'm trying to sort out the what's the other ones? Not Twitter. It's not YouTube, not Facebook, Instagram. And I'll try and link up the Instagram to it as well, so it'll go live out on there as well. So thank you for watching us and listening to our name drill. Isn't it amazing how when you look at all the stuff we spoke about all the years, and you start to link it all up, you can see the links, you can see the joins, and you can see the knowledge behind it, and it makes you go, So there you go. Things that make you go, We will see you next week. Keep your eyes to the skies. Thank you ever so much for joining us. So it's goodbye from him, and it's goodbye from
me.
Oh, forget it. It's goodbye from him.
It's goodbye from him.
There you go. See you later, guys. Take it easy. We'll see you next Monday, 9:30. And remember, 10th February, we've got a live paranormal investigation coming up. So see you later.
See ya.